Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jerry Sansing with another edition of What's Going On in Corpus Christi. My producer, Janelle Bennett, is listed there. This is April 20th, day before Easter on 2019. Air times are there, Wednesday at 8:30 and then Thursday at 7 o'clock, and that's both p.m. And there's my email address if you need to get a hold of me, pass information on, or need information about anything. And that's gsansing@gmail.com. And I'll be talking about several things I think of great importance this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and get it started, and I'll be right back. Okay, it looks like the recorder's on. I've got the lights on. I'm going to go take my seat. It is springtime. It's a great time around here. It's been beautiful weather. I'm all sunburned. I made a mistake of going to the air show last week and didn't put a hat on. The weather was so beautiful and nice, and I had a light jacket on, and it was a nice breeze and cool. And it was a beautiful air show. They always put on a good one out here at Corpus Christi Naval Air Station. Now, this also is a benefit of South Texas and so forth during the springtime. This is an amaryllis plant. It's a beautiful pink on white and so forth. So I thought I'd go ahead and introduce you to that one. I had to put the pot down here. The pot's down about that far below on a chair. You can see the chair back. But anyway, this is a very tall one, and it came out just beautifully. So I'm going to dedicate that to my mother, Miss Connie. They did not bring Miss Connie down from San Marcos to the air show. That's a Bell P-39 that was dedicated to her years ago when my dad and I refurbished that one, and he flew it for a lot of years. Is a member of the Commemorative Air Force. He's I'm known as Sandy's son all over the countryside when it comes to pilots like that. And I did see a couple of the people at the air show that I have known for many, many years. And so anyway, I want to dedicate that to my mom, Miss Connie, and my deceased wife, Miss Lynn, and my friend, Miss April 23, who's up in Arlington, and she's going to be attending the University of Texas, Arlington, and aeronautical engineering. She's airplane crazy also, and bless her heart, she's going to make it. Now, my throat's a little bit funny here with these weather changes and so forth. I guess the older I get, the saltier I get and so forth and so on. Now, this is the Taxpayers Association oriented show. I'm the president of the Corpus Christi Taxpayers Association. As most of you know, I get sick and tired of these elected officials because they can't tell the truth many times. So I go ahead and show this picture of Pinocchio, and there's old Jiminy Cricket giving him hell for lying. So I use this and as a demonstration of what I think of these local politicians around here. Not all of them, but the vast majority. And they're not going to tell you the truth, and I'll get into some of that here in just a few minutes. Now, since we are taxpayers, then we get stuck holding the bag around here for all these screw-ups and all these wonderful things where all these politicians are trying to make a nickel and so forth and so on, and take care of all their buddies and make money for everybody at taxpayers' expense. So since you get stuck holding the bag all the time, I thought I'd show you this pachyderm excrement, and there's a taxpayer holding the bag, and that's what we get around here frequently. I hate to be that graphic about it, but I don't have enough time left in this world to be real cordial and so forth and so on. Okay. Now the times for airing these are going to be changed. I think it's on June the 2nd, which is not too far out, a little over a month. So I'll update you on the program times that I was able to get at our quote-unquote lottery last Saturday. And we'll just go ahead and let you know what's going on there. Okay? Now, again, welcome, and there's that beautiful amaryllis plant. And I've got some others that are blooming outside. You really need to go get some of those, folks. They're beautiful bulbs. They're easy to maintain. You just put them in a good potting soil and water them every once in a while, and then in the springtime. And if you do buy one before Christmas, you can do that. They have them for sale. and you go buy the bulbs and start watering those, about Thanksgiving time, and then all of a sudden you'll get a beautiful amaryllis for Christmas, and they are great things to have. I had to undergo a medical procedure a couple of days ago. This is Saturday. On Thursday morning, I had to go in at 6 o'clock. And I won't describe what the procedure was. It's one that us older individuals, I won't say old, but older than usual, than most, have to undergo every 5 to 10 years to determine certain things about your intestinal tract. And it's most unpleasant, but I must admit that I didn't feel a thing, and so forth. Now, I got a little tickled when I was scheduling that, because the person with the doctor's office over here, which is a very good group. It's the Colon and Rectal Associates of South Texas. Dr. Annie Lynn was my physician. She was absolutely wonderful, very courteous, kind, and so forth, and took real good care of me. And then when we go in for the procedure, it's handled over there at the Corpus Christi Endoscopy Center. Now, I'm not advertising for these people, so I don't want to get in trouble with the president of the Public Access Users Group, Channel 10 and now 18. And oh, by the way, we're going to be airing this both on Channel 10, which is done for years, but now 18 is we're going to be on the air on 18. So, well, I'll give you all of those different times and schedules and so forth, so you can keep an eye on me, okay? But anyway, when I went to call in and let them know that I was going to make the appointment on Thursday morning, the young lady over there, the nurse that was over there, indicated that there were nurses over there at the endoscopy center that was looking forward to seeing me, because they had me when they were Del Mar College students and pre-nursing degrees. So some of them went way back, folks. There's a fantastic nurse over there. She's a nurse anesthetist, okay? She put me out in about 3.5 seconds. It was unbelievable. And then I had another one that I can't even see. This was Thursday. Had gone ahead and given me an IV for that, and I can't even see where she poked me with that needle. And then there were 3 others that were had various activities going on with me over there. And I had a good time with them. Bless their hearts. They're all doing very well. They're all nurses right now, and I hope making a pretty good living, and that's what they wanted to do. So that's the reason that I have stuck with Del Mar, much to the administration's dismay over there, is I love to see the students get through and go out and get their degrees, and then get fantastic employment opportunities and so forth, and they're able to make a real good living for themselves and their families. So my hat's off to the 4 female nurses and the 1 male nurse that was over there and took excellent care of me. So I had no problems with what could have been a very uncomfortable situation. And I tell my students when they're in class that, I hope I don't make them too mad and perturb them at all, because one day I'm going to have to go to the hospital or go to one of the clinics like this, and so forth and so on. And I hope I haven't antagonized them to the point where they take some of those good sharp things and all those drugs and chemicals and take care of me. Revenge is not what we need to do. But I had a great time. So for the 5 of you, and then the 6th one was over there at Dr. Lynn's her office over there. And she was a former a student of mine. She's an RN over there. And so there's 6 of them, 5 ladies and 1 male. And I can't tell you how pleased I am to have you in such a professional mode in these days. I was totally impressed with what you did. So my hat's off to all of you. And pass the word around that I have said that. I'm very appreciative of what you've done and so forth. And I hope I didn't make you too mad in class, because I do get accused of being rude, crude, and uncouth, because I don't stand for talking student to students. I've had a couple of complaints this year. I have ceased teaching the microbiology courses, I won't get into the reason for that. I just I want to maintain safety. So now I've gone back and I'm teaching the anatomy physiology and enjoying that, and got a lot of good students over there. But some of them get mad when I say you will not be talking student to student in here. So if you've got your buddy next to you and you can't refrain from talking to one another and disturbing and breaking everybody's concentration in class, then don't let the doorknob hit you in the butt on the way out to go complain to the president over there. I just don't tolerate that. It's rude, crude, and nobody needs to be in there disturbing other students, your fellow students. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Thank you all again, and I've got many, I think, nurses and medical professionals around town, surge techs and respiratory techs and all the rest of this stuff. And Del Mar has had an excellent program. I have a little bit of reservations about what's going on at Del Mar these days, and I'm going to discuss some of that in a minute. Okay, but overall, in the past, I've had just fabulous students, and they're doing well. So thank all of y'all. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to discuss is going to be Del Mar opens a new food pantry to help students. This was in it was yesterday's Caller Times. I didn't get Thursday's edition, and then I was going to go over and buy one because I guess it wasn't delivered, or it was blown away with all that wind and rain and so forth on Thursday morning. But I'm not going to spend $2.50 for a daily when it's only maybe 15 pages long. So I'm not going to get into what I think the Caller Times has come to here lately, but I don't appreciate it, and we can do much better than that in this town for the news. Anyway, this was in there. It's got a picture of the Del Mar Viking there, whatever his name is, Valdar or something like that, as if we need a clown like that. But anyway, what this was all about is there were some people over there. Tina Brooks was one of them that led this charge to do this. And so thank you, Tina, and some other people. And what they have is they've got stocking food for the students that don't have enough money to go over there and buy, potato chips or a snack or breakfast goodies and so forth and so on, and food during the week and during the day. So it's a very good idea. And then it says donations for the Viking Food Pantry can be made to this Coastal Bend Food Bank at 826 Krill Street. So I guess they're in conjunction with that. But my hat's off to the Del Mar personnel over there that pull this off. It's it helps these students. And when you're a student, you don't have two nickels to rub together, folks. I never did through all of my career as a student, and I worked 3 and 8 to 16 jobs, it felt like, to get through. So this is a good thing. So we'll thank you, Del Mar, for that. And then the Regents approved plan for campus. This was in the February 18th of this year. This was in the Foghorn, the Del Mar College newspaper over there. And it says that Southside facility expected to be complete by the summer of 2021. I'm going to have a few words and say about things about what I think of as a 30-year veteran here. I can't believe this. I just am completing my 30th year here at Del Mar College. Or 29th it'll be. I'll be 30. Well, no, I guess it is completing the 30th. Okay, so anyway, then it says that the Regents, had approved the plans for the campus on the Southside facility. Now that's that 96 acres of wetland, swampland, quagmire out there at Yorktown and Rodfield, where we're going to build a $500 million campus eventually to house at least 15 to 20,000 students. And I find that very difficult to digest as a taxpayer because statistically I can prove that we have not had an increase in student enrollment since 1992 at Del Mar College on our east-west campuses now, and then we've got the Northwest Center. And it's crazy. It really is. And then we've got other facilities elsewhere. And then what was in there also is we have a regent that's been there for 14 years. He's been the, I guess, president of the Board of Regents for 10 years out of his 14-year hitch there, Mr. Trey McCampbell. And he went ahead and filed his resignation. I'm going to follow up on that later. I'm investigating the reasons for that. But anyway, and then on the 8th of January of this year, in the Caller Times, it says that Del Mar Board okays McCampbell's resignation. That's Mr. Trey McCampbell. And then to take his place, then the newest member sworn into the board, and that's welcome Libby Averant. And she was with Caller Times for a long time. I think she was actually the head person down there, the chief person for the Caller Times for a while. And I hope she's paying attention to what some of the other board members have to say about the, I guess, faux pas is the way I'd put it, of buying 96 acres and trying to put up a campus for 15,000 students and maintain East and West, Northwest Center, and facility over here on Costorix, and I guess that's, what is it, Carroll? Anyway, but it's crazy as a loon is what this thing is. We've got all these campuses and facilities, and I don't know how we're going to pay for it. And now we have the state that's going to try to limit the amount of increase in property taxes that the Del Mar College district can impose on us and the city and others, because these taxes have gotten out of hand for what we do, and these elected officials keep spending money like a bunch of drunken sailors. And I shouldn't say that, because I've got a great respect for the Navy and the members of that. So I hate to use that drunken sailor, but that's an old phrase. But they swore this woman in March. It says Regents meeting deals with possible hike in tuition. Now the reason that we got the possible hike in tuition, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to have to pay for all these bonds. We're just about ready, and I'm going to go over this in a minute, to complete some building on East Campus, and then building on West Campus. And I think the bond that y'all approved in 2014 was something like $157 million, and that's got to be repaid. That's taxpayer money, folks. That's district, Del Mar College district taxpayers are going to have to cough up that money. And then we got $139 million that we're now putting up, starting that campus out there on the 96 acres of swampland. Like I say, we call it the Southside Campus. And it says Del Mar and WGU Texas signed a transfer agreement. This is between the WGU Texas signed that, and they don't say what WGU is. Okay, I'm not sure what that is, but I'm sure that one of these days we'll find out. But there's a transfer agreement between them, and there's the president and the Viking and the Owl from whatever school that is. But we'll see what's going on. So I don't know. We need to get some more students through. Del Mar College receives a donation, $1.5 million, called History Making. And it says here that who donated this? The company, a joint venture between ExxonMobil and Saudi Basic Industries Corp, announced a massive $1.5 million donation to Del Mar College on Thursday. That's for that, I guess, what do they call that? It's a technology program out there on West Campus. Okay, and it's they've got these industrial type things out there, and which is good. We need that. It's process technology, I think, is what it's called. So they've built that. Now the only problem I've got is ExxonMobil and Saudi Basic Industries Corp. has got that big tract of land over there at Portland, within a mile of the high school over there, and they're going to start developing plastics and stuff. And the atmosphere over there is going to go to hell, and I just hope that a lot of students don't get sick, and people in Portland. But it seems like the elected officials around here, all they want to do is to make big bucks for themselves, and all their elected official buddies, and they don't give a damn about the health and welfare of the residents around here. I know that because I spent 6-7 years of my life and a whole bunch of personal money and so forth and so on, a lot of tears and sweat and so forth, to make sure that we did not have the Las Brisas Energy Center over here polluting the public and killing a minimum of 80 infants a year, according to the American Pediatric Association. And then the cardiologist said there'd be an awful lot of cardiac patients that would be killed and severely, their health impaired. So I spent, 7 years doing that as the chair of the Clean Economy Coalition. Finally convinced these morons at the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality and Rick Perry, governor, that we didn't need to have that plant here in downtown Corpus Christi. So I guess what I'm going to do is go over across the channel and see if I can help with, it's too late now. They've already approved that chemical plant over there. So, I'm seriously considering moving out of this area, because with that and the steel mill that they're going to go in, and they've got voestalpine over there polluting everybody, then, it's going to be a mess, and then the port wants to bring in more crap over here every day. So this place is going to be, like moving into Texas City up there, and you can watch the fires burn at night, and you can see your water go to hell and everything else. Now, I hate to preach doom and gloom, but I do have a background in toxicology, and I know what's going on, and it's not good. And then it says, here's the April 8th edition of the Foghorn newspaper. It says, new building in final stages of completion. Okay, and that what they mean is this is the East Campus. Now, what I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to be very blunt about this, is I don't know how in the world you people were duped into voting for these bonds by this administration and some of the Board of Regents members and the bankers and the architects and the engineers and the contractors around here, and have you think that this is going to be great for education. Now, currently, with the facilities that we've got before all of this $157 million building on East and West, the utilization of classrooms on the East Campus was 35% during any 1 week, and it was less than 25% occupancy on the West Campus. Okay? Now, and then we're going to build a $250 million ultimately campus on swampland at Yorktown, and Rod Field. Okay. Now, I've done a great deal of research, and I think I've got a little bit of a handle on the mathematics involved. I did take a graduate class in statistics at one time. My math courses went through differential equations that I needed for taking various biochemistry classes that required the use of differential equations to get through it. So I think I can understand the basics here. Now, from 2009, we had academic contact hours over here. Okay, at 3,137,000. It jumped to $3.4 million at Health Steady in 2011. It dropped a little bit in 2012. It dropped a little bit more in 2013. It dropped a little bit more in 2014. 2015 it dropped some more. 2016 it was just above the 2015. And then now we've got 2017 here. It was almost back up to 3 million. But in 2018 we've got 2,757,000. So that's what, about a 9-year run there. Okay. Now, to me, statistically, if you go from 3 million in 2009 and you've got 22,757,000 in 2018, and nothing peaked out above that number except 2010 and 2011, then that's flatline, folks. So how can we preach to you fine folks out there, you gullible voters, and taxpayers that we had this great big huge increase in students, okay, and student enrollments. It just didn't happen. Okay. Now, to further exasperate that, this is from the meeting that's going to be held on Tuesday of this next week. I think it's the 23rd. And it says the fall credit head count. Okay. Now they go back to 2014 with the number of fall head counts. Now these are the number of people that are taking classes, no matter how many hours they're taking, whether it's one course or 15. And in 2014 we had 10,439. Okay. Then what we did is in 2015 they started this summer flex entry, whatever in the hell that means. You know, they're generating numbers over there just to try to save some butts over there, because they're going to spend all that money and spend all your tax money with this stuff. But the regular count was 10,852. In 2016 it jumped to 11,689. And then in 2017 it was 11,476, and now we've got 11,867. Now what they failed to mention with this is those increases from 10,500 essentially to 11,800 over 4 years. Much of that is done because about 20% of our students now are dual credit students. And I know that recently we've got people going up to Beeville and soliciting dual credit up there, because that place up there is cratered, the Coastal Bend College. Nobody wants to deal with them, and that's another story about how they've screwed up there with that completely awful president up there. I won't get into that, folks. Okay? And then we're going over to Sinton, and we're going all over Hell's Half Acre, soliciting dual credits so that the administration can go ahead and publish that we have that many students. Now the problem with that is we do not have those students, the vast majority of them, on campus. But they're saying we're increasing the enrollment, so we need all this new construction, and we need all of you suckers out there as taxpayers to say, oh, it's education, we're going to go ahead and support that and give you, tens and hundreds of millions of dollars to build buildings that are going to go unoccupied. And Del Mar College, to be totally honest with you, the maintenance department, we've got some real good workers over there, but the people in maintenance, they can't maintain what we've got. And we're building all this new square footage that we're not going to be able to maintain and take care of. What can I tell you? Okay. And then in addition to that, what we're doing is we're encouraging students to go over there and complain about the faculty members, because they can't just sit on their butts over there and not study, and they think they've got a rite of passage. Now, on the next show, I'm going to talk about this. It says local bookstores are helping grow readers. There's a picture here of Dr. Jimmy Owsley. She is a surgeon, emergency room surgeon over there at Spawn, and she's got a bookstore just down the street there from that on Air Street. And then she says Dr. Jimmy Owsley wanted her bookstore to help people be smarter. She gives away a free book every day to help people grow their personal libraries. Okay? And she's a marvelous person, folks. And then I'll talk about what she's sponsoring, Represent Us, which is a group of local people that are going to start asking questions about law, the legal aspects of things around this community. She's a great lady, and I appreciate her so much. So thank you, Dr. Owsley. And I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down. I can't believe that we've got only about 30 seconds left, but I'm just going to go ahead and shut the camera down, and I'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that shows well. That's that amaryllis. The one on the back there is just as wide open as the one that faces you. There's actually two large blooms, and then the one that's coming out to the side there. And as I say, these are dedicated to Miss Connie, Miss Lynn, Miss April 23, and I'd like to go ahead and say to Dr. Owsley on this show, I appreciate what you're doing for the community. So I will be back. If you need anything, email me at gsansing@gmail.com. and I'll just go ahead and let this play out. I'm always available to discuss certain items of taxpayer interest.